All right, Stokastic. Here we go. It's your old pal EMAC coming to you on a Saturday afternoon. We have a mega slate, 10-gamer, I believe, here. Everything going off between 4:05 and 4:10. There's a 3-game main slate. I hate how they call it main, the late, the early, the whatever. So 10 games at 4.
This is the main slate. The slate that starts at 4 is the main slate today. I don't care whatever, whoever calls it anything else. This is the main slate.
Yeah. So we've got some fun ahead of us here. I have a new login here on StreamYard, and when Mr. Nolan Kelly has this set to the dark side. I don't know how to change that. I'm not used to that. But in any event, hey, if I wasn't having a degree of difficulty, it wouldn't be me and technology. Matt, have you had any luck since I have last seen you? I have been in a bit of a downward spiral in DFS and sports wagering.
Yeah, it's been a rough week for me. I mean, last night was just wild. I didn't have anything you needed. I mean, starting with Sonny Gray, who went for 50. Then you talk about Baltimore putting up 22 runs. Washington finished with 15 runs. Philly went for 13 in a game that was very likely going to get postponed at one point. So, yeah, it's been a rough week for me, but it's DFS, and we're back at it today.
Yeah, 3 home runs from Spencer Steer. If you didn't have that, it was a long night. I did okay on FanDuel and actually DraftKings, but Yahoo got my teeth kicked in. So and on Hard Rock. Darn you, Hard Rock. Fortunately, I have Underdog Fantasy where I at least clawed my way back to break even for the night. But that's not good. Down a lot this stretch here. So we're going to turn things around. It's going to be fun. We have plenty to talk about here. We will also hit the later slate, but we're going to jump on in. We will kind of bounce back and forth between DraftKings and FanDuel. I'm playing on FanDuel. I've got my 6 hand-built lineups all ready to go. I'll be building out the other 150 here towards the end of the show. But Matt, at the top here, a couple of fun options. We have Robbie Ray. That would be the Railer Coaster, if you will. He is in Chicago taking on the White Sox. Brian Wu is going for the Mariners in Texas. You have Quinn Priester, sort of a discount dandy. You're going to need him probably on DraftKings and Yahoo. He gets to take on the Colorado Rockies. And then there is Brandon Pfaadt. Is he good? Is he not good? He has a good matchup today. Questions abound. And then there's about 4 others coin flip guys. What are you seeing from a macro level today? Is it what are your priorities?
I see that the Sims really like Pfaadt is one of the guys the Sims are pushing, along with Robbie Ray and Kumar Rocker. Me personally, my just overarching view of this slate from a pitching perspective is it's bad. There aren't a lot of guys I like at all. I think Ray is certainly the top dog at 10-5 in a great matchup against the White Sox team that's not good, especially against left-handed pitching. But you're paying full price for Ray. He's going to be owned, and he's not in great form. Like, I don't love the combination of those 3 things. So do I think Ray is the top pitching option on the slate with the highest upside? Yeah. Do I like it a lot? No. After that, the big problem why Ray is getting so much ownership is there just isn't a lot to like. So Quinn Priester is fine. I mean, you're just matching up with the Rockies here. He's not a guy I've used. He's been very good against right-handed bats. We know the Rockies don't have many good bats in general. Certainly they don't have many from the left side. So clean matchup for Priester. Another guy you're paying full price for, though, like Priester 8K. I mean, this might be the highest tag he's had or close to it, 7,900. And he's also getting owned. So, like, you're not sneaking up on anyone playing Ray and Priester. I get it because a lot of the other guys don't look good. But for me, I'm more apt, and what I'm going to do is just spend down on 2 guys that are cheaper, that aren't as safe as, like, Priester or Ray, but I think are fine options and too cheap themselves. So for me, I think Ray is the top dog. Then it's kind of a clump of guys. Brian Wu is the probably overall best pitcher on the slate, but tough matchup, tough tag for a guy that doesn't have elite strikeout stuff. So all in all, it's a relatively ugly pitching slate.
Which means decision points, the ability to make a stand and to actually find some leverage here. What sort of tasty beverage do you have going on over there? Tell me that's a milkshake.
It's not a milkshake. We had a little family time at the splash pad this morning. Lost one of my AirPods there, so that's why I wanted one. But to make up for it, my wife got me a smoothie on the way home. So it's a smoothie, tropical smoothie cafe. They do have them in Florida. Not sure if you're familiar.
I am not. I went to
it's good stuff.
Smoothie King and was completely shocked. I thought it was like an ice cream place or something. I'm like, I don't want health food. I wanted a milkshake. I was pissed.
That's funny.
My wife's like, how did you not know? It's called Smoothie King. I'm like, I don't know. I just assumed it was an ice cream place. So good times. Shout out to my wife, by the way. Our anniversary is today. 15 years.
Wow, congrats there.
Years. Yeah,
that is
long time there.
Yeah, that's something.
She also has banned the song that you love, Dong of the Day.
Oh, God, thank God. I love her already. Bring her on board. She doesn't
understand it. She has no idea.
There's no chance she could do this show instead of you, is there?
If you wanted to talk hockey, yes. If you wanted to talk baseball, she knows like Ichiro and Albert Pujols and all kind of that range of ball player, Bryce Harper, etc. Not many of the new guys though. So good times. Oh, you can only hear Bellman. Well, let me fix that. That is my fault. In playback. Okay, there we go. Keisto locks just for you, my friend. We are good to go. All right, so if we look first at Robbie Ray, the point is he in good form? It's a little bit dicey. The injuries have kind of got to him over the last couple of years. He's given up 4 home runs in his last 4 starts. In that time frame, he also has 3 unearned runs, so even his pedestrian-looking line is actually a little bit worse. However, it's the strikeouts. That's what we go after. That's the currency of the realm. Dating back to the beginning of last year, he has a 29% strikeout rate combined against lefties and righties. The lineup being put forth here by the White Sox has a 27% strikeout rate this year against lefties. If we stretch back to last year, that's 26.2, and then almost a non-existent power rating. So this is a get right spot for Robbie Ray, but we are paying full freight across the DFS sites. Shortly, or just a little bit below him there, we also have Brian Wu, who is the most efficient pitcher in the league. He is averaging 14.02 pitches per inning. So even though he pitches in the mid to upper 90s for his pitch count, he has cleared the 6th inning in every start. He doesn't have tremendous strikeout numbers because, again, he's getting by there on efficiency, and he is kind of priced for perfection, meaning he needs to continue this efficiency to pay off his price tag. We saw Texas and Seattle go to extra innings yesterday, so Texas could be getting off the schneid a little bit. I believe they've scored 6 runs or more in 4 of their last 7 games, so maybe their bats are waking up, so that makes us a little concerned with him. Priester gets the delightful matchup there against Colorado. The main thing about Priester is sometimes he doesn't close out the 5th inning. That's a challenge. I think he'll get that done today against the Rockies, but how much more? Don't know. That's why he becomes more of an SP2 and not really a FanDuel priority, which in turn brings us to Brandon Pfaadt, who is going against Miami. So I haven't quite figured out why. I mean, I know why the Sims are pushing it, but he is not someone who made my short list when I was writing the Spotlight Pitchers and Top Stacks article. I mean, it was really easy just to go to the 3 aforementioned pitchers that I had there, but Pfaadt was not exactly someone I was picking amongst the early runs on the tools here. He's going against Miami or hosting Miami. The Miami lineup that came out has just a 20% strikeout rate against righties over the last season plus. Fott has been up and down. He does have power issues to both sides of the plate this year. Last year, it was mostly lefties. The roof will be closed in Arizona today. And Miami doesn't have a ton of power, just a 133 ISO collectively. But you have Jesus Sanchez, Augustine Ramirez, Kyle Stowers, and Liam Hicks that all have power. And then, of course, human wind machine Connor Norby does as well. What are your thoughts here on Fott? Is he one of the guys that you are willing to pay down for, or do you think the Sims are pushing him too much?
I think both answers to that question are yes. He's a guy I'm willing to pay down for, but I also feel like the Sims are pushing him too much. I kind of learned my lesson on just using pitchers against Miami over the weekend against San Francisco. They destroyed San Francisco's pitching, Logan Webb included. He was okay, but not good at all. They destroyed Birdsong, and can't even remember the guy they got before that. Then last night, Merrill Kelly started off really, really well, and then they just destroyed him. Fott has had a ton of struggles, especially against left-handed bats recently. Like, I get it on a weak pitching slate. It's still the Marlins after all. I'm not scared of this lineup, but, I mean, I don't know. He's got a 5.50 ERA, a 6.80 expected ERA. Like, he's blue all over StatCast. Like, I mean, I don't like it at all. I think that the Sims are smarter than me, so I will bow down to them always. But me, from just like not an outsider, but as someone who watches baseball and sees the trends, Fott does not look right to me, and wouldn't be surprised if an IL stint comes for him after another bad start.
All right. So for perspective, of the 6 lineups I built out on FanDuel, 3 of them have Robbie Ray as the starter. 2 of them have Quinn Priester. I wasn't expecting that, but I wasn't against it. But the reason I ended up with 2 of those is because otherwise every other lineup, the other 3 would have all had Brandon Fott. So like you, I was a little tentative on this. So I only went with 1 of my main 6 lineups there with him. So I don't have a good feel for him. And he's someone that we've recommended against in his earlier days because he had home run issues. We have taken him several times as a recommendation starting last year and then again this season in the appropriate matchups. It's just I like the call out of a potential tired arm IL stint or get your head right. One of those where it's like, we're basically going to skip a start, but we need the roster spot. We're going to kind of come up with something to put you on the IL. So that kind of makes sense there. It's like you followed baseball for a long time.
Just a little bit.
All right. After that, we end up with Chris Bassett going against Boston. You've got Andrew Abbott in homer-friendly Great American Ballpark. It was homer-friendly for Cincinnati yesterday, certainly not Dylan Cease. And then let's put Kumar Rocker in his own category. What do you think here about Abbott and Bassett?
Abbott and Bassett are 2 guys that are like I'm fine with on this slate. They're expensive. Like this is not the matchup for him at this tag and this weather. We talked about Abbott last slate and how good he had been on the road. And he wasn't even good in that start against St. Louis, but he ended up going, I think, 7 clean innings after he gave up a run or 2 in the second. And he ended up with 22 fantasy points, I believe. I don't like him here at all. I think that the only thing to like about Abbott here, not the only thing, because he's been very good this season, is the ownership. I mean, he is coming in as the highest leveraged pitcher on the slate. Anytime you get a guy as good as Abbott's been at that, leverage number, it's worth at least taking a look at, no doubt about it. But it's just not the matchup for me at that tag. I don't think it's a crazy play, though, just because of the lack of good pitching options in good spots today. So you're going to take a chance on basically whoever you roster. Bassett, I don't hate it. Don't usually love using pitchers in this park. But Boston's just, after the Devers trade, they got a bunch of young guys with potential, but they're striking out a lot against righties. Bassett's been good. Totally fine with it. I don't feel great about it, but I think I'd rather play him than Priester at the ownership difference.
All right. Yeah, let me know if you guys can see this or not. It looks clear on my screen, but I don't know for sure. I've increased the size a little bit. I'm just sharing the top pitchers tool here. This is showing DraftKings. So if we sort by percentage chance of being a top two pitcher, because two pitcher site there, we've got Ray, Wu near the top. Then it kind of gets crowded with the secondary tier, Bassett, Priester, and Fott. And then we start to slide into the kind of also rans here with Abbott, Kumar Rocker. You have Ben Kasparius. He is going to be the guy coming in after Ohtani. I believe Ohtani only went one inning in his last outing. He'll probably go one or two again today. So it'll be Kasparius as the bulk guy. We've got Lucas Giolito going against Toronto. It doesn't strike out a ton. And then we kind of get into the, hey, I'd like to stack against these guys, including Sandy Alcantara. You've got Zach Little. Where's our other friend here? Oh, down that way down there, Zach Eflin. So we've got some fun. When it comes to weather today, there's a couple spots that might have a little bit of precipitation, but it's more about humidity that is going to be at those various venues. There doesn't seem to be anything that is going to be postponed or even really much more than a delay or a later start. So we should be okay on all of these. Pittsburgh is probably the most risky. Baltimore has a lot of humidity storms in the area, but it doesn't look like there's going to be consistent coverage. So as long as nothing goes over the ballpark, that shouldn't be a problem. And then Cincinnati should be clearing out, but it's going to really increase the humidity there. And that is something that will help lead to home runs. Not quite as hot as it had been earlier in the week, but everything is still pretty warm here, but not quite the heat dome effect. Let's see. How many lineups are you building out today?
I'm playing 4 lineups.
Is Robbie Ray on any of them?
No.
Okay. Is Brian Wu on any of them?
No.
Okay. Is Chris Bassett?
No.
Oh, all right. Getting spicy. Have you talked about?
No, we haven't talked about either of my favorite 2 pitchers yet.
Okay.
And I don't love them, but I don't like any pitcher on this slate really. So I'm going to spend down.
Is Kumar Rocker one of these fellas?
No, we've talked about him, I think, haven't we?
Okay.
No, we haven't yet. You're right. We
lightly touched on him. So let's hit him, and then I'll turn it back over to you to lead us through the Matt specials. So Kumar Rocker is talented, but what's a good way of saying it? We're still in the prove it phase, and he hasn't proved it. He ripped up the minor leagues, just wicked strikeouts up through AA. But once he got up to AAA, kind of slid into the around 10 per 9 innings, which usually translates to about 8.5 in the majors. His walk rate hasn't been bad. I thought we'd see more wildness from him, but his walk rate has been palatable, shall we say. And he's done an okay job of limiting home runs, but we're only looking at a 33-inning sample size across 8 starts. So he hardly makes it to qualify for the win. The Mariners have been, Cal Raleigh has been awesome. So he is carrying the Mariners offense with him. I'm not too much of a fan of Rocker today, but like you, I agree. There's the 3 or 4 at the top that's going to get all of the attention, and then there's another 5 guys that could easily outperform any one of them. So what do you have anything redeeming to say about Rocker? And then let's hear about your pitchers.
Sims love Rocker here, so interesting to at least notice that. Although projections and stuff just updated, so waiting for ownership, but we'll see what changes there. Because ownership and stuff that's what the Sims are based off of. So any change will change everything. So Rocker here is boomer bust option here. It's not a clean matchup against Seattle. We've seen what the Seattle lineup can do, especially on the road. Rocker is boomer bust. His pedigree says that he's too cheap at 6,500, and I don't think that's off. he's still in prove it mode, like you said, but at this price point, don't mind taking shots on him at all. He's a guy I thought about hard. I wouldn't be surprised if I play him a little bit if the Sims are still pushing him once we get this update. He's cheap and he's got good stuff, even if he hasn't put it all together yet.
All right. Who are the Matt Bellman specials? The fantasy tips, Matt. So
number one is a guy that I'm surprised you haven't guessed because I feel like I've brought him up every time with you specifically. Maybe not, but Sandy Alcantara, 7,100. Yeah. I know he hasn't been great numbers-wise, but his underlines are still decent. He got the win against Atlanta last start out. He hasn't been bad recently. He just hasn't been great. But all his underlines are better than his actual numbers. You catch Arizona with obviously no Corbin Carroll, no Josh Naylor. I mean, that's two of their top three left-handed bats. So, yeah, 7,100 Sandy here. Still waiting for the start that he puts it all together. It probably won't be today, but he's just too cheap for his stuff, for this version of the Arizona lineup, for this slate where I don't like pitching. So Sandy is probably my favorite pitcher on the slate, all things considered.
How many of your lineups will have him?
Still debating, but likely 3.
Okay, so that would be the majority there. Okay, interesting.
Potentially 4.
Oh, all right. And you're playing the 3 maxes today?
Yeah, I'm playing the
big single.
Yes.
All righty, you guys, we don't want to question Matt because he has had excellent success here. I've dropped in the chat a link here to get in the $2 3 max 100-man must fill to run over there on FanDuel. I push these because I think they're fun, they're winnable, and it's 11% rake instead of 18% rake. If FanDuel they used to guarantee these and they'd fly off the shelf, they don't anymore. But you guys want to jump in that? It would be fun to get that going. That's also in their lobby. So once it gets up to 50 or 60 entries, it will fill up pretty quick. All right. Einsteinium says, thoughts on Slade, Sessione, and a Red Sox stack. Is Sessione one of the other pitcher you're looking at today?
It's Ciccone, and no, definitely not.
Sorry.
He's a guy I don't like at all. His underlying numbers are awful compared to his actual numbers. I'm waiting for this to come back down to earth. He's been good. And it might not be today where he comes back down to earth, but I'm just off him. Again, I don't think any of these guys are like bad plays on this slate because I don't love any pitcher, but he's a guy I'm specifically not playing.
All right. I have streamed him today in my season-long stuff because there was not a lot on the waiver wire that I could get to because I play in some more competitive leagues. So Priester was already preloaded a couple days ago, picked up by people. So I did go that route, but I don't want to put my truly hard-earned DFS dollars behind him. So Einsteinium, we're kind of light on, how did I mispronounce it? Sessoni?
Yeah, it's Ciccone. Slade Ciccone. Slade Ciccone.
Ciccone. There we go. Okay. But we'll look at the Red Sox stacks when we flip over, because that is another team that the Sims was filtering in on the lineups that I was building out through the single lineup simulator here. What else do you have for us at pitcher? I'm terrified to ask.
Yeah, I know. So the other guy that I like here, and like is relative, but I just think he's underprojected, and he's got better stuff than this price tag. It's Zach Eflin. Yeah. Okay. So he's obviously coming off 2 really rough starts, no doubt, but he was in good form before that. Again, not to even be a box score watcher or a game logger. I mean, before the starts against the Yankees and this same Rays team, he threw up 23 fantasy points against the Tigers, 20 against the Mariners, 29 against the White Sox. And I don't even think that's what he is. Those are aberrations, but that's in there for him. And he's 6,100 against a team that can strike out. Even though the weather's nice and it's good ballpark for hitting, it's not as good as Tampa's home park right now. And he's priced like he's a nothing, and he's not a nothing. He's not great, and he hasn't been a high K pitcher this season, which gives me the most cause for pause. But at the end of the day, he's 6,100. He's opposite Brandon Pfaadt. He's got a 5.5 ERA, but a 4.0 expected ERA, He's only striking out 16% of hitters. So like you're not going to get a high K game outside of variance, but Tampa can give it to you. And Baltimore's bullpen has been worked. Like he'll give them length if he's pitching okay. I'm willing to look outside the past 2 starts and go to a pitcher that, quite frankly, like I know the matchup is far from as clean as the Rockies. But if I had to take one pitcher to make one start for me tomorrow, Eflin or Quinn Priester, I'm taking Eflin. So at $1,800 cheaper at home, I think he bounces back here. I'm playing Eflin.
All right. Sorry, I misclicked on the artifacts here, so that we got to see quickly the lotion play of the night with Lindquist. That was not intentional. I was just seeing if I had some of the other artifacts there. All right, so flipping this over to FanDuel real quick, and then we'll start talking stacks. No, Sir Charles, it is not porn. It could be, but it's not. Robbie Ray is the slight edge amongst the cast of thousands here who have the top pitching percentage. So I think that clearly he's over leveraged, but he is only appearing on 22% or so of lineups. You've got Brian Wu coming in at 13%. Quinn Priester is just a little bit higher, but he's 2,000 and 2,400 less than those other guys. And then Fott's kind of in the middle. So it's really kind of a 4-horse race here on FanDuel. We'll see what happens when I run out my 150. But as I mentioned before, I ended up with 3 Ray, 2 Priester, and 1 Brandon Fott for my lineups there. Anything else you want to mention about pitching, or shall we turn our attention to stacks here?
Let's do the stack thing.
All right. Let's get, why can't I get to that? Top stacks tool. But that does remind me, in the meantime, for those of you that have not yet signed up for Portfolio EV, in the YouTube description below us here, there is a link that will get you 7 free days of the Portfolio EV tools. If you have not yet signed up, that will still be available to you. Nightbot is also dropping that into chat. Stop guessing, start winning. Try Portfolio EV today. All right. Who is your top stack today?
It's a good question. I think there's a lot of stacks that look good. For me, there's a couple that I like. I don't have one that's like stands out above the rest, but I like Cleveland a lot today. They've been bad recently. The past 2 games specifically, Sonny Gray, 1 hit, complete game shutout, no walks yesterday, 50 fantasy points. The day before that, Gausman went 8 innings, no runs. They've been in a funk. But they get Jose Ramirez back, and I just think this is a perfect spot for them to break out. Weather is really hot here. Mikolas doesn't miss bats. I like Cleveland a lot. The Sims were really liking them too, which is always nice to see. So that kind of bumped me to say them as my favorite stack. But I also like St. Louis against Ciccone. Mentioned how he's been fraudulent, and I expect the other shoe to drop there. The Dodgers always. Lugo's expected numbers are not good, and that's even coming off 2 really good starts. So the Dodgers always. Ohtani certainly the best one-off hitter on the slate, and then the Brewers.
All right.
Excuse me, had to sneeze.
Oh, that's quite all right. So let's look at these. So if we look at the popularity here, it's relatively even, right? You've got a 10% going to, and this is on DraftKings. So we got 10% going to Cincy, 8 to the Mets against Bailey Falter. You've got the Dodgers up there. Dodgers are relatively expensive, as they should be, but a good matchup for them. Baltimore sneaking in, and then it's just kind of a scrum here of a bunch of others. So even if we say, Matt, what are you thinking? How could you possibly go with Cleveland today? They're all the way down near the bottom. That's giving him tremendous differentiation from the field. And if he's been watching and has a good lean in this game, this is where you can get the a little bit of the IKB, the I know better, or I want to influence what I'm doing. And it doesn't, he's not going to have to do much. He could put 1 stack in his 4 lineups and he will be well over the field on this. So remember, it's math. I wish these are the kind of story problems I would have been better at my math classes with if I was able to have these. I bet we all would have been. My favorite stack, no surprise, is going to be Cincinnati going against Randy Vasquez. So Vasquez I think he had a horseshoe surgically implanted in his ass this offseason because he has some of the most ridiculous numbers I've seen. He has 4.2 walks per 9 innings, 1.4 home runs, only striking out 5 every 9 innings, yet he's got a 3.6 ERA. That's with the 5.7 xERA, a 5.5 FIP, 5.7 xFIP. In his last 5 starts in June, he has allowed 6 home runs in just 24 innings. He's had 10 walks in these 24 innings, yet still has that 3.65 ERA. His expected ERA, 7. You can't keep getting this lucky. He can't keep getting away with this, Matt. This should not be happening. So sadly, the Reds popped off last night. Now, again, it was mostly Spencer Steer. He had the 3 home runs. But the other thing about Vasquez is never had any strikeout stuff. Starting since the beginning of last year, 775 batters faced, less than a 14% strikeout rate, a 7.7 swinging strikeout rate, and a 10% barrel rate. Yes, he allows more barrels than swinging strikes, which also is hard to do. So come on down, Cincinnati Reds, Ellie De La Cruz, TJ Friedel, Tyler Stevenson, Spencer Steer. You guys know the rest. I think Will Benson's in the lineup. He's even if he's in the 7 or 8 hole, he's perfectly fine in this matchup. So for me, it's the Reds. Got them in on 2 of my 6 lineups, but I have a feeling I will be getting a fair amount when I build out my 150. Are the Reds gracing your 4 entries at all?
I'm playing some Cincy, not full 5 manning them. They're going to be owned. I think they're going to be the highest owned team on the slate. Everyone knows about Vasquez. It's like the meme. He can't keep getting away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, lefties just destroy him. Just destroy him. Ellie looks elite here. But, so did Ohtani the past 2 games. Ohtani faced him, and I don't think Ohtani did anything. So it's baseball, and baseball will always baseball. But on paper, the Reds look elite. If there was one team I'd be worried about with ownership, though, it's the Reds. They're not expensive, and they're already projected to be the highest owned team on the slate. And I get it, but on this slate, I don't really want to play the highest owned team personally. I wouldn't fault anyone that did, and it's ownership that's not really worrisome. So that's just for me. I wouldn't have any argument if you felt differently about that.
All right. Who else is bubbling up here for you?
So Senzatella is the worst pitcher on the slate. So Milwaukee certainly looks good here. Yeah, he's awful. I mean, on the road, at home, wherever you throw Senzatella, he's just not really major league capable right now. So Milwaukee looks great. I mentioned Eflin. Tampa looks really good in the tools, though, opposite him. They're coming in with nice leverage. They're 3rd overall in the top stack tool. They're way down there in ownership. They've been really good recently. They're more expensive than they've been, but it's not hard to fit, at least in my opinion. The one thing I'll say is I expect their better bats to be higher owned than what we're projecting. I mean, they just destroyed Eflin, and Tampa's been popular recently. So I'm not buying the real low ownership, but I do think they'll be lower owned than the Reds. So Tampa looks good. I talked about Milwaukee. The Dodgers just go without saying. They're always going to look good. Ohtani and then everyone else. I think San Francisco. I've played a ton of them recently. They have not been good. So part of me is I'm hesitant to go back there. But the other part of me, as soon as I don't go back there, they're going to go off. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. Hauser is fine. He's actually been pretty good, but nothing I'm afraid to pick on. Obviously a ballpark upgrade for the Giants. And this White Sox bullpen is atrocious. So, yeah, give me some San Fran here.
All right. So, yeah, San Francisco is kind of interesting. So you've had Young-Ho Lee, who's just been awful.
He's been awful for a month.
Yeah, he has a 104 ISO, again, with the platoon advantage over the last 30 days. That's 81 plate appearances. That's dreadful. So they've slid him down to the 7 spot. Christian Koss is hitting leadoff today. That's a little bit interesting. He is really cheap across a few of the sites, in particular Yahoo. So I found him to be an intriguing option. Of course, we have Rafael Devers, who is absolutely fine. The other guy that was kind of interesting is Dominic Smith. Now, Smith is, he's been a part-time player seemingly his entire career, or a platoon guy his entire career, but he is batting cleanup today. So that makes him a little bit interesting. We need to remember the park upgrade going into, what is this, American Family Insurance, or whatever the name of the formerly guaranteed rate field is these days. Chicago, good times, not Wrigley Field. Those guys are somewhat intriguing. Yastrzemski, I swear to God, he bats in every lineup hole at some point, it feels like, throughout the season. But he's batting sixth today. So those are ones that I was getting one-offs in when I was working with the single lineup simulator. It was giving me a few of those guys. It was pushing Yastrzemski on FanDuel in particular, but I did end up deciding to make one full stack with them. I also did, of my 6 lineups, I made sure I have 2 Baltimore and 1 Tampa stack. So Baltimore is we get angry with them. They're not doing what we think they are. They're actually really good against righties. So you have Jackson Holiday looks good. Gunnar Henderson looks good. Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano, Colton Cowser, even Gary Sanchez has been perfectly fine, and he's no pinch hit risk with Adley Rutschman out with injury. So those guys are interesting. Ramon Urias ended up on a bunch of my lineups. He slid into the 2-hole here. So while he doesn't have the best numbers, he's gonna make stuff happen when he's out there. He's not afraid to steal a base, be aggressive on the base paths. He makes contact, the ball goes in play. He's not great, but he's cheap and he's batting second in this lineup. So I like those. And then the Tampa assessment, I'm never as excited about Josh Lowe. Hit or miss. Love Brandon Lau. So
Josh Lowe's been really good recently.
I know, but I mean, he had a home run yesterday. I think both Lau and Lowe got one yesterday, as did Aranda. So, but I love Brandon Lau, Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, and then Caminero as well. Those are the 4 I was building my stack around for that one. And then shout out to, who was it Caballero came in last night and gave up 2 home runs and 6 earned runs in the 9th or whatever when he finished out that 22-run game.
That was something.
Just currently winning. Hi. Boy. Chat, do you have any questions about the featured slate stacks here? Let me see if we got any super chats. So let's look at the Boston stack in particular for Einsteinium. So Boston going against Chris Bassett. Bassett, I believe this is his age 36 season. He's an innings eater. He's got a little bit of dog in him, because the name Bassett. So we're always going to say that. Jaron Duran ended up as a major one-off for me that was being pushed by the single lineup sim on FanDuel, as was, I think it must have been Romy Gonzalez, which seems weird. It was one of the guys from the bottom of the order, but I lowered their projection so I would quit getting them. The top couple are okay, Toro, Duran, Abreu, but I wouldn't really want to stack them with so many other options that are out there. Bassett does an okay job limiting power. Lefties are his weakness, but he is enough of an innings eater that I just feel like he'll absorb enough punishment to make a stack really ineffective against him today. How do you feel about the Red Sox for Einstein?
Yeah, I'm not loving the Boston stack, but it's this ballpark during the day. Bassett, he can get gotten. I'm playing 4 lineups. I'm not stacking Boston, but I don't think they're a bad stack. Just not a team I'm personally playing. I think there are quite a few teams that look better, but I don't hate it. I think that if they get to Bassett, their upside is high. So don't hate it.
All right. Let me get back to the chat here. Is there any other team you want to hit on?
Yeah, I think the other one that kind of got lost is the second team I said was St. Louis. Ciccone is not very good in my opinion. At least he hasn't been this year. He's gotten by with a lot of smoke and mirrors. I shouldn't say that he's not good because I do think his stuff is good, but I think his results have been much better than he's actually pitched is the best way to put it. Regardless if you think he's good or not, his results have been much better than how he's actually pitched. So St. Louis, they're cheap. He's not great. Cleveland's bullpen is good. Not as dominant as it has been in years past, but good. So you got to get to Ciccone. Don't hate it. I think they're top 5 stack for me. And then the only other one I'll call out, well, 2 I'll call out, the Mets against Falter. Mark Viento's back, cheap, hitting second at 2,700. I think that's the only game with like potential weather concerns, but I don't think that's anything to be really worried about. And then, well, I guess 2 more because, we're not short on time anyways. So San Diego against Abbott. Abbott's been really good, but obviously you get this ballpark upgrade a day after they were just really chalky. So contrarian Padres, good with. And then lastly, God, who was it? There's a lot here. I think that might have been it. So, yeah, that's all. There's a lot of good stacks there. I don't like the pitching. It makes sense. I like a lot of the stacks.
Yeah. So Mets were the one that really came up. Viento's numbers don't look great this year. Last year, he played Brett Baty back into the minors. As Matt mentioned, he returned from injury. He crushed with the platoon advantage last year. He only has 49 plate appearances this year against lefties, but last year, let's get his numbers: 246 ISO, 387 WOBA. Those are across 140 plate appearances. Yeah, he's going to strike out, but he was just crushing the ball last year. You've got Francisco Lindor, who is consistently one of the best hitters in the league from both sides of the plate. He always rivals Jose Ramirez for those honors. You've got the lefty-righty combo of Soto and Alonso. Soto is perfectly capable in same-handed matchups. I'm not as high on Brandon Nimmo against lefties here. He's one of my favorite players, both in season long and DFS, but I don't like him in this particular matchup today. The team I wanted to call out was this is directly attacking you because it's the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now the roof is going to be closed here.
That was the other one.
Yeah,
sure.
And this one is so Corbin Carroll's out. He's on the injured list. He is I can't remember if it's a fractured wrist or a sprained wrist. Whatever it is, it's unfortunate. But what it's doing is it's allowing Geraldo Perdomo to bat leadoff. It's keeping Ketel Marte in the 2-hole, and then it's moving Pavin Smith up into the 3-hole against righties, which is a huge upgrade for him. He has had some serious power numbers this year, which have been nice. A lot of extra base hits, not necessarily home runs, but a lot of good extra base hits. So those are the top 3. And then Eugenio Suarez, he was a little banged up over the last week. I can't remember if it was a wrist or a thumb, but he is back batting cleanup. So that's kind of your core 4 there up at the top. Suarez is having a resurgent season this year. I think it's his age 34 season. He has, even at the start of the season before he went on his impressive heater, there was some stat. I think he leads among all active players. Like he has the most game tying or game winning RBI over the last 5 years or something like that. It was it was kind of they were trying to do like a clutch stat, which is kind of hard to do in baseball, but there you go. I'm old enough to remember when game-winning RBI became a stat that was like the dumbest stat ever, because you could literally have a game-winning RBI if you led off with the home run and your team never trailed. You had the game-winning RBI. It's like, I get what they were trying to do, but that was just nobody thought that one through.
I agree.
Oh, wait, good times. We'll circle back for our home runs. Let's quickly look at FanDuel. We'll look at the 3-game feature slate here, and then we'll answer any questions. We are 23 minutes away from lock. FanDuel has the Dodgers up there, of course, no surprise. Mets are also up there, and then we get into the kind of the scrum of the teams we were hitting on there. Let's look at the popularity. Cincinnati, Dodgers, Mets, kind of the same as the other sites. What's the value? Any sneaky value? Nope, no sneaky value. Although Baltimore and Tampa Bay look good for the Dodgers, or pardon me, for the FanDuel, the blue side, the boys in blue. Yeah, see how I conflated that one. If we look at our 3-game late slate, Matt, there's not a lot in the in the way of pitching.
I don't know. You're right, but it's like there are guys on this slate I'd consider on the main slate. On the main slate.
Would Mike Soroka be one of them?
Yeah, he would. I'm mad I didn't play that slate last week in the afternoon, but he was really good against the Dodgers.
I think he has like 19 strikeouts in his last 2 starts. What's going on?
Yeah, he's been good, man. And his underlying numbers, and this is why I stress them so much, have been good all year. So, like, not that that's the end-all, be-all, but it's worth noting at least. He's the 3rd highest owned pitcher on this slate. For me, it's 3 pitchers for me on this particular slate. Schwellenbach, Soroka, and Luzardo. I think Luzardo is clearly the highest boomer bust option of the group. We've seen it in his past month work of outings, but he's affordable and his strikeout upside is real. But if I were making one lineup right now, it'd be Schwelly and Soroka. Schwellenbach's just been the best pitcher on this slate by a good margin all year. Not a clean matchup, but they're going to need length from him after Bryce Elder last night. I've been stacking against him so much. I'm mad I didn't stack Philly. Whole range of emotions. At first, I was very happy I didn't play them because of the weather. And then after they had 8 in the 2nd inning, I was not happy about it. But it's Bryce Elder. Expect nothing else. Different results here will probably be in Schwellenbach's favor. So I like him a lot. And then Soroka. I mean, he's much better against righties, and the Angels' best bats are all righty. So I'm in on Soroka. I'm in on Schwelly. Luzardo would be the odd man out for me. I think that McCullers, Hendricks, and Rhea are all just contrarian options, but none of them really speak to me at all.
Yep, completely agree with all of that. I also wrote it up so you guys can catch that since we won't have a specific show for the 3-game late slate here. Lance McCullers is returning from injury, didn't have any rehab starts, but should be, okay. To go. He's got the tough matchup against Chicago. You mentioned Luzardo. If you guys are running the Sims, you're gonna get a lot of Luzardo. Kyle Hendricks has just been I love the lefties for Washington against him, but Kyle Hendricks is a savvy enough pitcher that he could hold the Nats to just 3 or 4 runs. Maybe he could eke out a quality start. Soroka ended up being the strikeout upside guy, as Matt mentioned, with Yohan Moncada hurt. There's really no good lefties. Yes, Luis Rengifo is a switch hitter, but he hardly ever gets the ball out of the infield. Nolan Schanuel did hit a home run yesterday. He is more of a contact hitting first baseman, gap hitter, as opposed to power. And then you've got Lamont Wade Jr., who came over from the Giants. They sent him to they released him, and then San Francisco and accepted basically a bag of used baseballs from the Angels to get rid of Lamont Wade Jr. So those are the interesting ones there. Harper is not ready. There was talk that he might be back this weekend. He's not going to be, maybe early next week. He's dealing with a wrist injury, so that makes Schwellenbach a little bit interesting there. But
speaking of trades like that, what do you think of the big NBA trade today?
I haven't seen it.
Cavs made a move.
What?
Huge deal. They dealt Isaac Okoro for Lonzo Ball.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's obviously a nice move for the Cavs on the margins. Like, Lonzo is more talented.
Lonzo Ball. Sorry.
Yeah, not LaMelo Ball.
Yeah. Sorry.
Come on.
Sorry.
I mean, so it's a guy that's barely played the past 3 years, but still Isaac Okoro he's just a nothing in my opinion. Good guy, great defender, but just cannot play offensively. So hopefully this is a move that the Cavs.
Are there enough body parts between Ball and Garland to have one healthy?
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see. They also re-signed Sam Merrill in a similar move, which I like. So we'll see. I know their season ended in awful fashion, but Indiana showed that they're good. So I feel a little bit better about the Cavs after the whole playoffs panned out.
Wow. Boy, basketball's just kind of chugging along there. We like that. I see that Nightbot has been dropping the Stokastic Hall of Fame into the chat there. Let's click on that. So you guys can get to that by clicking the link from Nightbot, or you can go to Stokastic on the far right, click social, click rock the Stokastic avatar, download one of these nifty Stokastic avatars to your DFS site of choice. Or upload that to your DFS site of choice. If you finish top 3 in any tournament with at least 5,000 entries or more, first, second, or third, no chopping at 10 ways in Showdown, but finish first, second, or third, meeting these requirements, you can get 30 days of Stokastic Sims free. All you got to do is tweet the Stokastic HOF Twitter account with your winning screenshot showing that Stokastic avatar, and you will get this taken care of for you. You have to do the tweeting. You should also probably reach out to support. We get people that win every now and then, and they say, I never got my free stuff. And it's like, you didn't tweet it. You didn't tell us. We don't magically know who has which avatars out there. But you can see if you can win this multiple times, you can get up to a full month of all access Sims, all the sports. And if you wanted to, I bet they would let you defer that till NFL if you ask nicely, since some of you may want to do that. All right. Let's see. Chat, you can put some questions in there. Let's do our home run calls. Some would call this the Dong of the Day segment, Matt. Who do you have on? Let's do the late slate. Who do you have for the late slate?
For the late slate, damn, out of nowhere with the late slate. Give me... There aren't that many under the radar options, at least that I've looked at yet. So give me an easy one in James Wood.
Oh, that's who I was going with. So I'll go with his wingman, CJ Abram. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really doing anyone any favors with those, but it is what it is.
No, but there we are. All right, who do you have on the afternoon slate here?
I'm going to go with a similarly talented player, guy who I don't think is going to get a lot of love here. Back with a vengeance today after missing yesterday. Back to carry the Guardians to a big offensive day. Jose Ramirez, J-Ram going yard. Great matchup for Cleveland. I like him a lot today.
All right, let's take a peek here at the old top hitters tool. Let's scroll down. Let's keep going. Oh, you know what? Junior Caminero. We're going to go with Junior Caminero. Why not?
I get it.
You got to go that route. Chat, who do you like? And then let me. I'm going to run my simulations here. Going to put my 150 lineups in for FanDuel since I've got 9 minutes to get this done. If you guys have not done so, you are going to want to do that quickly because time is running out. Let's get back over here. Download my CSV. I see that not many people jumped into that FanDuel tournament. We only got up to about 50. I'm telling you, you guys are missing out on that reduced rate. Plus, I'm in there for 3 lineups. That's like having, even better odds at winning. Did you determine how many overall lineups are going to have Sandy Alcantara for you today?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
That's not fun. That's not fun. All right, let's get these sorted here. And I should have done this beforehand, but that's all righty. FanDuel just doesn't do enough contests. Very sad. All right, so simulating the lineups. That was creating the portfolio player pool. Now it is going to take all of the lineups it built, pit them against each other, running these through the simulations, which allows the goodness to rise to the top. That will help us determine how we are going to sort out our lineups that will be carefully curated and collected into the fun. Let's see, playing some double ups here. I probably shouldn't have done that. Some triple ups, get my quints all together, and then let's get ready to rumble. All righty. So my hope is that I want to have some representation from Arizona. I want the Baltimore-Tampa game, and then I'm hoping for Cincinnati. So let's see how that plays out here. All right. Favoriting 150. Let's see what happens first. We're going to look at pitchers. So pitchers, Brandon Pfaadt doubling the field. Well, I'm okay with that, but we're going to cap him at 20. Robbie Ray, I'd like to be just a skosh over. We're going to put him at 30. Quinn Priester didn't end up on that many lineups. I'm okay with getting him on 20. Brian Wu, no, I only want him at 10. And then let's spread things out here with everybody else. So I'm okay getting a smattering of these other guys here because it's not going to be I don't Caspias though. Let's do it this way and see what happens. Set those exposures, unfavorite, refavorite, get to 150. Pitchers, 30% Robbie Ray, perfect. 20% Brandon Pfaadt going against Miami. I'm okay with that. Quinn Priester, just enough of a salary saver. I'm okay with 20%, 10% Woo. This looks good. Let's check out batters. Is anybody overly represented in the pool? That's an awful lot of Milwaukee there. I'm just going to kind of cap these guys. I don't want more than double the field.
Yeah, I could see Milwaukee being higher owned than we're projecting too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to happen. Like, projections are just projections. Like, there's going to be teams that are higher owned and teams that are lower owned than are projected. So I don't think anyone would be surprised at all if teams like Cincinnati and Milwaukee are a little bit higher owned because they're affordable.
Did I scroll past Cincinnati? Does it not give me the Cincinnati love? Only 5% Cincinnati. I need a little bit more of that. So what I'm going to do, selectively up this twice to 10%. And then I'm also going to boost the players I want by one click. So this is where you got to be careful because we're double counting here. But if I go with TJ Friedel, one click, I want Ellie De La Cruz. One click, I like Benson, even though he's towards the bottom of the order. See, he's not even coming up. I'm going to give him 2. And then who was the other guy I want? Steer. A little bit. And let's redo this. And let's watch and see how much it changed. So it gave me 5% before. Now look at how dramatic that came up. That's a lot. So we're going to back off the stack boost. How much is that going to change it? Okay, 24%. So this is perfectly acceptable for me now. Kind of got what I want. Unfavorite, let's do 144 because I already built out the 6 lineups. Let's download those. And then let's see what other questions we have here. Who are you afraid is going to break the slate on you? It's hard to say today because
it's MLB. It's MLB. Like anyone that I don't have.
Yeah. Upload CSV edit. Dun dun dun. And there we go. All right, let's get back to chat here. Will Shohei Ohtani get pitching and hitting stats? No, he is only going to get hitter stats. The only site that ever figured out how to split him into 2 was Fantasy Draft, and they went out of business a couple years ago. Toro Bomb, there you go, switch hitter. Living and Dying with Alcantara, brave move on Matt's part. Love it. No pitching stats. Why? Because that's how it works. Even on a lot of season-long sites, you can either play him as a hitter or a pitcher. That's it. You don't get both. I've played in leagues that split him into 2 players when he was healthy. We haven't had to worry about that last year, so not many people did it this year either. That was the other one. Let's see. Eugenio Suarez is a home run there from Rants. Nice. Anthony Range likes Jose Ramirez with you. Charles Moran says Vlad. I like that. Spoonie Love, Ketel Marte. Danny P says Stevenson. What else do we have? Ty Jerome. Is he going? Jake Swells thinks he's going to Orlando.
Yeah, potentially. He's probably not coming back to Cleveland now.
He's a free agent, right?
Restricted, so they can match it up to a certain point. He was dreadful in the playoffs, though. It's a weird case. He was so good in the regular season, but man, he was the worst player on the floor against Indiana. So fans here are mixed in how they feel about him.
Let's see. Oh, Lindy taking some victory laps. If you guys are you want to join the Tails package, join Eric Lindquist's. You get at least a dozen bets a day from him. You also get access to Eitan Shander in that. Greg is doing his futures wagers as those pop up as well. It's a pretty good Discord to get into, relatively cheap. If you guys follow him at Eric Lindquist on Twitter, he's usually dropping out some promo codes that will get you access to that at a discount, at least for your first month. Similarly here, we've got some fun stuff. We talked about the Hall of Fame program. We talked about the free 7-week trial, or 7-day trial for Portfolio EV. And then we also have our link join offer. Nightbot has been putting that into chat as well, but that allows you to sign up for a variety of sites and get 30 days of any single sport sim package that you would like to have. So you can find that in the description of the YouTube below us here. So let me show you how to find that, and then we're going to get on out of here. So if we go to YouTube, what do we have? Stokastic. Somebody asked me, how do I find these? There's the description. If you click on that, it's more. Look at all of these links here. So there is the different ways that you can get into any good offers that we have. The Tails packages, the Hall of Fame, all that stuff is here. All righty. Good times. Good times. 4 minutes to go. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about?
I'll bring up one more thing.
Oh, what do you got for us?
What do you think about Cal Raleigh at 6,200?
I think it's a realistic salary for what he has been doing, but I can't.
Especially compared with the other catchers, too.
Yeah. It's a reasonable price. I mean, God, we saw Ohtani. Wasn't Ohtani 7,500?
Yeah, but Ohtani is still, the much better DFS asset than Raleigh. Yeah. If for no other reason than his stolen base. Raleigh's averaging 11.3 and Ohtani's at 12.1. That's insane.
It is pretty nutty. It is.
That's insane. The thing is, Raleigh steals some bags too. Not like Ohtani, but he's got that in his back pocket.
Yeah, and while he doesn't pitch, he is a switch hitter. Do we get bonus points for that? Degree of difficulty. Eric Wagamon or Hicks? I would play Hicks. Get Hicks with the platoon advantage.
Sure.
What else do we have? That's it. All right. So it doesn't appear to be any weather concerns. Nobody's announced PPDs that are delays that I can see. We've got all sorts of fun coming up here with baseball. You also get on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Chris Baggs at 3 o'clock breaking down DraftKings best ball for NFL. Everybody, if you draft on DraftKings in their flagship contest, the $20 contest, you will get a second ticket for free. So it's basically a buy one, get one. So you'll want to take advantage of that. With that, Matt, we're going to slide on out of here. You guys can find Matt on Twitter at Fantasy Tips Matt. You can get me at EMAC DFS. And of course, it is Stokastic _COM. With that, gamers, good luck.